Hi, it's T with Teaquilts, and today is Saturday, September 24th, 2022. It is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we're here for a live 2-hour sew and chat. So I hope everybody has had a great week, and even better Saturday. And we'll get into chat. I, I'm going to give people about a minute to get into the chat here. For the topic today, we are working on the Not Today pattern by Sew Emma. I'm working on my last border blocks that need to be pieced. I think I need a total of 20 blocks. So I'm hoping that I can get those done, and then I can start sewing my border pieces into rows at some point. So, well, I first got to sew my inside blocks together as well. I have everything pieced for the inside. I was just getting all the half square triangles completed. I'm one of those people that like to do piece reduction. The less pieces I have to keep up with, the better I feel about a project. So I've got blocks over here on my design wall, but they're not like laid out. They're just in rows. I already got them laid out to where they're going to go and everything else. So this project is further along than you all think. So I'm looking forward to wrapping this up, and considering that it was just a project to do doing the chats that wasn't even on my immediate to-do list. I have no plans for this other than using it on my bed because it's so pretty. So let's see who's in chat. Brenda Foley here saying hi T and friends. She was first in chat. Delia Short says hi T and everyone. Happy Saturday. Vivian Calvi, hi T and everyone. Maddie Barnum, hi T and everyone. Hello from Don Cunningham. Rich Rutley says hello T and all my quilting friends from New Jersey. Hey Rich, and welcome. And Bonita Nance, hey Miss T and everyone. Bonita, you still looking for people for the paper piecing class? If so, you can post the information in chat if you want. Cynthia Field says, hi, T and fellow quilters. I am home from hospital and resting on couch. So that's good, because I thought you were home earlier. So that's good to know. So thanks for keeping us updated. Francis Jackson says, hi, T and everyone from damp and cold Michigan. And then she says, T-I, and then it quit. Judy says, hello, T and everyone. T. Robert says, evening all. Mary is here also. Mary F. saying howdy. Shirley Peters, good evening, everyone, as well. Oh, T, I was finally able to get into the optional blog Facebook group. I will be mailing my block soon. Yeah, I do remember that. And there's another Fran. It's a Fran. And I'm blocking the last name right now. That Rudolph. That's who it is. Fran Rudolph. I have sent you an email. It could go into your spam. So I have responded to you wanting to get an optional block. I have responded to you wanting to get the Hobo Hearts book, just in case you're watching this video. Oh, okay. Thanks, Benita. And that's right, because I couldn't do it because I'm going to be quilt judging next week. That's why I couldn't sign up when I saw the date. So thank you. Forgot about that one class already happened. Cute Lady Corpue says, hi everyone, I'm sewing a baby quilt tonight. That's fun. Liz Wilson says, hi everyone. And Wash Your Hands is here. Sandy Agger says, good evening everyone. So nice to be with you all. Maria Mayer says, hey Miss T and all T quilters. Hey Maria, welcome back. And Wash Your Hands is saying hi T and everyone. Mona did what? Says hi everyone. Claudette Bettis also says hello T and everyone. And Maddie is also reminding people to hit the thumbs up button for me. I appreciate that. I can only put so many text into a comment, so I ran out of words today. I was trying to put in the pinned comment what I'm working on because I tend to get that question a few times. So hopefully people, as they're coming in late, they'll know what project I'm working on. I'm hoping to at least wrap up these blocks tonight for sure. Hey, Tiffany of Tiffany's Quilting Life. She says, hi, T and friends. I made it today. Janice Miller says, hello, T and T Quilters. Tom Eckery is here going, hey, T and all T Quilters, smash the like button for Miss T. Hey, Tom, thanks so much. And I think we're about ready. I do have my blocks laid out here. I know you all can't see all of them, and I got the phone up here so I can read comments. I'm going to be making blocks like this for my border. So I've already got them laid out. I do want to say, Delia, I've talked with her to let her know that this came. One of the problems that I have is somewhere in some of my videos, YouTube has left off my P.O. box, because I would never give you my address without giving you the actual box number. And I have changed how I put my P.O. box in my description. So when you're sending me stuff, you're just going to put P.O. box and then the number and the city, state, zip. The reason I had it set up as a street address that looked like it was my home address is because sometimes I have sponsors and they send stuff, and if they send it via FedEx or UPS, they don't deliver to P.O. boxes. However, they will deliver to a business during the day, and the post office is a business. So therefore, they can deliver my package during the day instead of saying that they don't deliver to a P.O. box. They are responsible still for taking them to the post office. So they indirectly they do deliver to the post office. However, I have changed it because it confuses a lot of people into thinking that they don't need to put the P.O. box on when they put that street address. That street address is the address for the post office. So what happened with this one is, Miss Delia, she got one of those descriptions where YouTube left off my P.O. box, because I've always put it in there. I don't know how it got changed because I don't even go into my description box. So I went in there this time though, when I changed my P.O. box to an actual P.O. box number. And that's all you got to put. Is actually less for you to write as well when you just have to write a P.O. box number. But this package was delivered on August 18th that I actually received yesterday. And I was really surprised that they didn't send it back, because normally they'll send it back when it doesn't have a P.O. box number on it. But it took them over a month to put this into figure out which P.O. box that I purchased, okay, with my name on it. They were too lazy to look it up. And I know what happens. My post office is short of staff, and been short of staff since COVID. And so there are days that we don't even get mail. And then there are other days I go to the post office and nobody even has time to sort the mail into the post box office, especially when people take vacations and stuff. So this probably happened when school was starting back around here, people taking vacations to do back to school stuff. And this is just set. And then once stuff starts sitting, other stuff gets on top of it. So I have changed, because of this happening, I have changed my mailing address in the description box of any videos that are now created. It's not going to do anything about the videos in the past. So just keep that in mind. Let's see who else has come in here. French Sing saying good evening to everyone. Leisha Moe is here saying hi to everyone. Glad to be here. And I thought somebody else came in. Remo JS is here saying Miss T, Hi, Miss T and Quilters. Thumbs up. 30 thumbs up. 68 watching. Please show your support. Miss Joe Carmel Perkins is here saying, hey, Miss T and my fellow quilters, happy Saturday. Hi, Joe Carmel. Hi, Remo JS. And Carrie Richard as well. Hi to you. She says hi, T and everyone. Ella says, hello, everyone. Wish you a good morning. Here it's 3 a.m. Oh, my gosh. Now, I had one of those nights when I always have to do stuff. And then I'm a night person, so I'm up to like 3 to 5 a.m. is when I go to bed. And then when I try to go somewhere, I try to make sure that I'm going to bed early, and I'm just laying in the bed last night. So I decided to just get up and get back to work. So I'm working earlier today. I had scrap quilting club today, hence this particular shirt. And I had about an hour of sleep all night. I ended up getting back out of bed about 3 o'clock. I got frustrated and started working on projects. So I got my 4-star general borders completed. So I can now post those instructions inside of the 4-star general group for those that are having some difficulties. And that's only if your border measures the same as mine, okay? And also, what else? Oh, on that communicate quilt that I talked about on Wednesday. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the other video. I have completed 7 of 9 sections. So this is what I mean by the communique quilt layout. You can get these particular layouts off of Pinterest. I have this particular one has 7 sections, and I have all but these last two sections here where you see the little red outline toward the bottom right under my fingers. Those 2 red rectangles on the bottom below my fingers is the 2 sections I have to complete. So I'm really excited about that. In the interim of doing that and pulling additional blocks, you know, the extra blocks, because I'm using everything that's extra. I'm not piecing one thing for this quilt top. I have made a whole mess. And so I decided that once I had made sections 1 and 2 to get caught up, I decided I was going to do all my sections and just hold them. And when they're needed, take them in as they're to be shown. Because I am not pulling out all these blocks. I got a mess. It's just scattered all over my dining room, the floor, the table, the ironing board, chairs. Because I've been sorting blocks by size, because you need all these different sizes for here. I got like my square containers, 2 inches and 3 inches. So yeah, it's a mess. So I decided I'm later in the year, because we're doing a section a month and we just started in September. So I know Hobo Hearts is going to be coming into play with this, and I didn't want to be pulling this mess back out again. So I'm hoping that tomorrow I have time to finish those last 2 sections, but my quilt top will not be put together. I'm going to now wait for everybody else and show my parts. And yeah, but mine's all be sewed ready. All I got to do is just sew the connecting seams. That's going to be it. So I'm happy about that. I'm sick of looking at it though, because it is a lot of work when you're trying to use orphan blocks and they're not exactly the same size as your quilt top. So I do know what to do when that happens. I don't want to chop anything off that I currently have. Everything I have, I like how it looks, and so I don't want to chop. So I'm trying to find small stuff, and I'm running out of small pieces of all things. I got a lot of 12-inch blocks, but there's not a lot of 12-inch block spaces in this quilt. So it's a lot, but I'm enjoying the process. I just now want it over, but I don't want to put it up in this current state it's in. I got a catch-22 here. Let me go back and see if I missed anybody. I thought I saw Teresa McCormick last, so let me see if I can find that. Rich says it seems very complicated to receive mail. Yeah, if you don't have any staff, sometimes my post office been having to close early. We're just in a phase at this time where nobody wants to work. Okay, Remo saying she got her package today. Miss Topaz is here saying hi, T and everyone. Teresa McCormick saying hello, Miss T and everyone. I can't remember if I read it. I know I saw it. June Hanson's here saying hi, T and everyone. Everyone. The Debt Free Quilter is here. And they're sending prayers to Remo and her dad for her big doctor's appointment next week. So that's awesome. Flower Girl in Ward 17 is here saying hi. Hey, everyone. Or hello, everyone. Thank you, Tiffany. She's reminding people to join the subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the thumbs up. So Joe Carmel says she's going to try to make the communique quilt with Tula Pinks, Parisville, and True Colors. Okay, that's going to be cute. Paula S is here saying good evening, T and Quilty friends. Hope everyone's evening is good. So that's great. Flower Girl is sewing some felt scissor case projects, so that's cool. Sandy says, I hate it when I want a quilt to just be finished. Yeah, I just want the stuff so I can put it up, because I had to pull stuff out of this corner because that's where I keep all of my optional blocks over here. And so I have rounded everything up. So now it's just a matter of me using what I need so I can put it all back and then stack the stuff back over here just to temporarily get it back out of my way, because I don't have time to clean it up. I want to get this done so I can move on. My next phase is to start working on quilting some long arm quilting. I got some things I need to quilt, so that's what I need to be doing next. I'm hoping I'll start that Monday, or preparing my machine. I might just get my machine ready, do a good cleaning of my rails and oiling and that type of stuff. Get it ready on Monday. And Cynthia's asking about my thumb. It's doing a whole lot better. I do have it wrapped today because I was out with Scrap Club all day. It's kind of cruddy looking because this bandage collects all kinds of dust. It's got all the lint that's in the air gets stuck on here. And then I wore sweatpants today, so that didn't help. So that's about it. So let me show you. Oh, she was signing up for optional block, but she also, which I this is the main reason I was hunting for this envelope, and I'm thinking maybe me and my husband had picked it up and we lost it, and so I was feeling really bad because it took them so long to get this. But she made a mug rug and she was surprising me with it, and then she had to tell me because we were looking for it. But I like that it's very subtle. She used a design by Juju, and it's got little flowers where the flower pots are thread spools. And I thought that was so cute. And then all of the additional quilting designs that are also included in the design. So just beautiful. I love that. I may have to go buy this one just for this. I've never seen the spools used as flower pots or flower vase or whatever. So I really like that. Hey, Martha's Creative Life says, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good, I'm going to assume. So yeah, I just love the subtleness of this. It's not a lot of contrast, and I think that's another reason that I like it. But then when you start really looking at it, and then those thread spools pop up, it's like, oh my goodness, that is just too cute. Very pretty. So thank you so much for the surprise. I'm so sorry that I was driving you and myself crazy trying to figure out where it was, but it was one of those things where, you know, the PO box number wasn't on here, and normally they just send mail back. So I was really surprised when it came. It had been out so long that when it came, I thought this was her optional block. I didn't even open it. I didn't even pay attention to the date on it because I'm still looking around here trying to figure out where's this envelope. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool. So thank you so much. I'm gonna just put this on top of my project I gotta take out of here when I leave. And then the other thing that I did, I shared that Etta V fabric by Riley Blake. See what it was called. So Stay Bright. I thought it was called So Bright. It's Stay Bright. And a lot of you went out and ordered that fabric because I told you all it was like dirt cheap on, I think it was fabric.com. And I went back to look to see how much you all had been shopping, and y'all bought everything, okay? And I happened to go back. I didn't see this before, was that they had a panel. Well, I bought two things. I didn't know there was a panel because it didn't come up in the pre-cuts, because a panel technically is not a pre-cut. It's like mostly listed with yardage when it comes up unless you type the word panel. So I didn't know it had a panel. But I went back and bought a couple of panels, I think. I don't even know if I've got two. So I bought two panels that goes with that line. And I figured since I had the fat quarters that I might do something with the panel in the middle. Who knows? But I got it. And it has like 4 sections, and I'm not sure if this is going to all be right side up or not because of how it's printed. But I like this Stay Bright panel. I like this big old eyeglasses. Remember, one of the prints had eyeglasses in it. So that's one. And then down on the bottom, we've got this gorgeous, colorful pineapple. I wish it was more pineapple with no border. I just love this pineapple. And then the last one, cute again, is butterflies. Right there. So this is also something that probably could have been used for something like communique, where you're filling in sections and you can just cut panel pieces into sizes as well. So, but I think that's really cute. Very pretty, and it's part of the fabric line. These were not really on sale, and I actually ordered these via Amazon because I didn't want to place a big order to get free shipping. So I just went on Amazon and ordered so I wouldn't have to worry about shipping. So I got 2 panels. And then this one print, when I saw it in the fat quarter, I fell in love with it. So if I do make a quilt, I ended up getting a 3-yard cut of this print. This multicolor print. I just love it. So I bought 3 yards of this. And again, these were mostly about $11 a yard. Something like that. So they weren't on sale. Again, this is Etta V Stay Bright, Riley Blake. It's printed under Riley Blake. So I love it. So that's what I went back and ordered. Because y'all went in there and y'all ordered all that stuff up. It was not much left when I went in there. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I do have African fabric order coming. I placed it today. So that will be coming. I am going to, I can't remember how many fabrics I got now, but I'm going to be setting up like fat quarter bundles and stuff. I'm thinking about doing like fat quarter bundles where you get, I don't know how many, say 30 fat quarters in a bundle. And that way, if you're working on like an African queen quilt or something like that, you've got plenty of fabric that you can use. Although it depends on the size of the blocks, you can probably get away with using a fat 8 to make the African queen quilt. However, if you've got like a fat quarter bundle, then you can also use some of that same fabric and piecing a border if you want to, or you can make, a larger quilt. But I like the African prints very well when I did the African queen pattern. So that's what I plan to do. And I don't foresee me like pre-cutting that for anybody. And one of the reasons for that is because of the skin tones. You want to pick your own skin tones for something like that. So I got that coming in that I placed an order for today. Francis Riviera says, "Ooh, I love that print." See, there's another Francis. Hey, Francis. I was talking about Tuesday how it's ironic that I got 3 Francis following me and communicating with me at the same time, and that's such an unusual name. The panels are pretty. Yeah, a lot of people like the panels. Sheila Willis is not feeling well today. Hope you feel better, Sheila. Vanessa Brown's here saying very pretty. Hey, Teresa Louise, I quilt too. She's here. I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, just retype it back at the bottom and I'll get you. And that, oh, I love the butterfly from Martha. Hobby Lobby has fabric on sale, $3 to $5 a yard. That's from June. Francis says, I think we all spell it with an E too. Yes, funny. And it is so funny for me because I didn't know that with an E meant that it was a girl and an I meant that it was a boy. And that's because when I grew up, I knew a Francis that had the E and I never thought about it. So I never assumed that a Francis is a girl or a boy, but later learn, sometimes people don't know that when you're picking names that there's a girl and a boy version of a name. Hey, Leetta Bryan, saw her today at Scrap Club. She says, hi, T&T Quilters. Handmade by Ying with Donna says, hi, T&T Quilters, those butterflies. Yes. Mona did what says, I was seeing random blocks. I want to start evergreen quilt, but I need to find fabric. Oh, okay. Mona did what says, I didn't know you were a long armor. Yes, ma'am. I've had my machine since 2016. I ordered it in 2015, had it delivered in 2016. But I've been long arming for years before that. I had about 3 or 4 friends. I'm not gonna say all my friends, but the majority of my friends, more of my friends than not, had long arms. And so I would always borrow their machines to quilt my quilts on. So I'd say the last probably 20 years, I have not really quilted on a home machine. I've always taken 3 or 4 quilts to my friend's house and just did really fast freestyle quilting on them just to get them done because it's quicker than computerized quilting. I like computerized long arm quilting when I'm at home because I can multitask. I can do other stuff while it's quilting, but it does take way longer to do a quilt with machine computerization than it does if you're just doing it by hand. Yeah, Mary, that's what it's supposed to be. But this mama didn't know that about the Francis. That's what I'm saying. Um, Sheila D saying, how do I get on a list for those fat quarter bundles? You can email me, and I'm going to be doing a haul of them. I got way more than 30 fat quarters as well, so it'll just be 30 fat quarters, and I'm going to see, I got to see what I'm paying per yard for stuff to see if I can discount my 30 bundles cheaper than buying a 4 fat quarter bundle. I think you get a 4 fat quarter bundle for like $13, and that's really like $13 a yard. So I'm going to see if I can discount the 30 bundles cheaper than that, because you're buying in volume. So that's one of the things I'm looking at. So just send me an email and I'll put you on there, and I'm hoping that they'll be here one day next week. I don't, since it went in today, I really don't think it's going to make my Wednesday live chat. But if not, I have to, well, I won't be able to do anything else because Thursday and Friday I'm going to be out of town. So if it doesn't make it to the Wednesday live chat, I'll show you all the fabric next Saturday. But I got a lot of fabric coming in. Is anyone having a fundraiser for breast cancer next month? I have brand new cross stitch pattern and thread from Lori Hope. Nope, I'm not doing anything. I actually, when I have stuff like that, I just donate to the individuals. You'll be amazed at how many people are affected by what you have. I just made one of those pouches in the breast cancer fabrics that I showed you all. I had made me one, and she saw it. One of my line dancing acquaintances, not necessarily a friend, doesn't have to be a friend. I think I will donate to people that are close to me instead of sending something off to somebody else, and then I can do my own donation. So she actually ordered it, and what that says to me is that she really wanted it. She wanted something that was going to represent breast cancer for her. And so I took her order and just didn't tell her that I wasn't going to charge her. As a matter of fact, I didn't even give it to her myself. What I did was I went through a third party and told them to get it to her. So she would really be surprised when she got it. So it wasn't coming from me, and the fact that she didn't have to pay. And she did contact me and say thank you for doing that. But I rather do stuff like that because I know it's going to an individual that I somewhat know, and that it's going to make them happy. And she really wanted it if she was willing to pay for it in the first place. So I know that she's going to enjoy that pouch. So it's the small things that I can do for people in their day that I do. So oh, okay. So Mary was answering Rich. And then I'm always, see, this is the thing with chat. I'm always behind reading the chat. So I don't know if they're asking me or if they're just asking somebody else. And then I don't see everything. Thank you, June, saying she liked the fabric. Donna says, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, comment, and share. Kindness is contagious. Rent paid, T. Thank you, Donna. Mona did what? Beach bags. No, they're not beach bags. I'm not making beach bags. I think she's talking to me. They were some of the pouches that I've been showing on here. I had made some with 2-inch finished squares, 2.5-inch cut squares. And then this one with the breast cancer, because I didn't want to cut the fabric up too much, I used 2.5-inch strips. And it also made it so that it went a lot faster too. But she just liked it because it had all those breast cancer ribbons on the different fabrics. So that's what I did for her. But I don't have any bags because I've sold everything. I have nothing. Everything that I've had has been sold or given away. Okay. Rich says, "You're so sweet, T. Thanks for your kindness." And Mary also saying, "You're so giving." I'd rather do stuff like that. I always say that, this thing is not about the money for me. I have made just about a quilt for almost every family member, like up to 10 years ago. And that means I've given out over 200 quilts to family members. Some of them appreciate it, some of them don't. And so when I notice the ones that don't appreciate it, I just don't give them anything anymore. But I don't mind giving stuff away to people that appreciate it. However, I'm not going to give somebody 5 and 6 quilts without you at least paying for your fabric, okay? So I think, they need to take some part if you're requesting a quilt or something. I want to make sure that you're going to value it when you receive it. So that's kind of my goal there. Sue GSD is here talking about, are you bagged out yet? Well, not really, because this week I haven't sold on any bags. I had started working on a bag. It's a different type of bag, and I'm only making the one. But I just wanted to do something different to do one bag. And I haven't even finished that bag because I started working on the communicate quilt. So I've been working on finishing that. C-Rex is here saying, hello, quilters. Paula says, T, didn't expect anything less from you because you are a kind and giving person. Amen, T. I'm with you about appreciate some. Well, not so much. Yeah. So let me go ahead and start sewing some of this stuff since I've caught up with chat. Get some of this stuff done. But I feel like if and I have Leetta that's in the chat, she has her way of making sure that her stuff gets appreciated with her family. She will piece a quilt top. She mostly makes scrap quilts. Now that doesn't mean that she doesn't buy fabric. It means that she just makes everything scrappy, because I know there's times that she has to buy her background prints. And she'll make quilts for her family members, but in return, she makes the quilt top all the way out to the borders. If they want a quilt, they see something they like, they have to pay for it to get long arm quilted. They have to pay for the batting, they pay for the backing, and they pay for the binding. And then she will finish the binding for them, but they pay for the fabric. Anything that's need to be done to finish that quilt, they pay for it, but she's not charging them for making the quilt top. So I thought that was pretty good. She always says that, and she was talking about that again today at Scrap Club. So that's how you know somebody appreciates your stuff, if they're willing to fork out a few $100s for it. All right, so I got these laid out in 4-patch formation, so hopefully we sew all of these together. I got them laid out so I don't have to think about it, what goes what, and then I'll keep them in pairs as we're going. But if I can get these last 20 blocks, I had 104 patches that I needed, so a total of 400 units that we've been sewing on off and on. And all I basically had been doing to make the blocks is pressing offline, because these pieces are bigger than my little press board here that I put in this room. So I've just been using my little wood press when I press. So let's see if we can get these together, or if I'm going to talk all night. I'm actually hungry right now. I did eat some, I had made some noodles, and yesterday I had cooked some air fryer catfish. I don't know if you all have ever had air fried catfish, but it was pretty good. So I didn't have time to cook the fish, but I did reheat the noodles. So I've eaten the noodles already, but I'm starving. I have had no protein. Starving. Let me see what's in the chat as I'm sewing. Let's see. Joanna Joniak says, "Hi everyone, I'm sick today. It's nice to listen to the live. Hope you feel better, Joanna." Same thing from Rich. The debt free quilter says, "Amen. I don't work for free." Yep, you got, at least you know people will appreciate it when they get it, when they got to fork out some money. Darlene Butler's here going, "Hi T and everyone, came in late. I will have to review the live chat later." Not much has happened. I showed a couple pieces of fabric that I purchased, and been basically just chatting. Also, for those of you that were not in the live chat on Wednesday, I did talk about retreat information that I've gotten so far. In I'm not taking any retreat signups currently. I'm just passing on information that I have so far. I'm hoping that after I get through with judging this show, next week I got a show, so I'm hoping sometime in October I'll start putting out retreat information. If you're looking for retreat information, the best thing to do is be in the Teaquilts Facebook group. If you're joining that group, it does require you to answer 3 questions so you can get in. Otherwise, you just sit out there for a while and then I delete it. And it's just to make sure I keep spammers out of the actual Facebook group. So if I'm not able to monitor it, I don't have to worry about something happening in there. When my husband's daughter said we could have gotten things from Penny's, that was the last handmade items they got from me. Oh, ain't that something? Ain't that something? Leah says she's making a grilled cheese as we saw. Don't be talking about food, girl. I eat those too. I made a grilled cheese turkey sandwich yesterday. Let me make sure I got the right piece. Is that a white square? Yep. Because I get to talking and I've been messed all of this stuff up. It's not in any particular order other than I want to make sure I don't have the same fabric in the 4-pack. That's my only requirement. And my little buttons up here going off for the bobbin. I haven't wound the bobbin for a while. That's why I went back to my Bernina. I missed that. I was changing bobbins so often on that brother. I had to go back to my being spoiled machine. Anything computerized. Cut the thread, and it does the knee lift. It's like, what a concept. I am so spoiled. I have at least 4 machines that cut the thread and lift the foot. It's like, why am I sewing every day with a machine that doesn't do that? All right. I do like making bags on it because I don't have to worry about knocking any my good machines out of tension, sewing through all that thickness. They get thick pretty fast. Hey Jason Lewis, saying y'all, hey y'all, so good to see you all. And Helena Carter says hi T and all quilters. Remo JS getting ready to make some oxtails, she says. T, what that your daughter on the YouTube picture for this chat that I saw? she's on the one for Wednesday. On this chat, it's actually me, Kevin, Tucker, and Regina in the car from retreat on the shop hop. So thanks for the reminder, Tom. That I did not. The whole retreat, we don't have a picture of Regina unless she's in a group photo with somebody. And she's not in a whole lot of them. Regina, when we had our Saturday night program, Regina left early because she had a red-eye flight the Sunday morning out. And I had, of course, I've seen Regina on some of the Zoom chats. So she was another person that actually made it to retreat that I got to meet. Even though we were in the same car, I know more real life stuff about Regina that's not my business to put out in the street, like what she does and where she lives. So I do know some stuff about Regina, but I really didn't get a chance to chat with her at retreat. And I was so overwhelmed with retreat that I wasn't even thinking photos. If it wasn't for Kevin, we wouldn't even have the documentation that we do have as far as pictures are concerned. I did take video of show and tell. So I have everybody's show and tell. So as I said, there will be a retreat video coming out, and I'm going to have everything on that. So yeah, I don't really know anything that I can share with you all about Regina. Let's just say that Regina is a very resourceful person. She's world traveled. And just a great person to communicate with. You learn so much just in talking with her. She actually took her retreat shirt and changed the bottom hem to give it a like a pendulum bottom where she curved it up to the side and then curved it around the back. So her shirt was really, really pretty. And she did that at retreat because the Teaquilts retreat shirts were all given out at retreat. So she found time to do that at retreat. She comes out when we were doing shop hop day and we were all wearing the shirts, and her shirt looked so cute. I'm going to do one of my shirts that I had two shirts because I wore one on the start day as a welcome shirt, and then I also wore it on the day we were supposed to use it. So I'm going to take one of my shirts and try to do that. I thought that was really cute. So I'd say she's one of the most resourceful, um, intelligent women that I know. She's up there. So it's a lot about Regina. I know that it's not my information to share. So, but very intelligent person. That's the most important thing I can say about Regina. So thank you, Regina, for coming to retreat. We appreciate that. She's not been able to be in the live chats for a long time, but she do watch some of the uploads here and there. So hopefully she'll see this one with her picture on it. My daughter is actually on the thumbnail for Wednesday. So that is my daughter there. Went out and fixed hot wings and cheesy rice. Flower Girl says, I make quilts for charity donations for their silent auction. If a family member wants a quilt, they have to make a donation to the intended charity. That's good too. People don't realize how much you lay out for fabric, etc. So yeah, and then they're shocked because everybody thinks that when you quilt something that is, it's cheaper. If they sell it in the store for $50 at Walmart, then I can give you 50 or less because it's cheaper for you to make it, right? It's like, no. Only another crafter realized, and it doesn't have to be a quilter, but any crafter realize the value of what you're giving somebody. Otherwise, if they've never bought anything from the craft store, they don't have a clue. went shop hopping today and questioned my decision every step of the way. You must have been spending money. That is too funny. Mona did said what says I'm giving to. I meant the big pineapple and sunglasses. I don't know what that is. That the fabric that if you're asking me about the fabric, it's by Etta V. Uh, via Riley Blake Designs, and then it is called Stay Bright. If you're asking me about that fabric. Oh, it's all sold. Okay. See, I went on Amazon and bought it, even though they had it. I was on the website, and then I didn't have enough to get free shipping. So then they had pay via Amazon. So I went over to Amazon, used my Amazon Prime, and then I didn't have to pay shipping. That was the only reason. It still took them up to a week to deliver. So they have slower shipping. They must have a big order base. And like I said, a lot of companies out here, businesses out here can't get warm bodies to work because nobody wants to work right now. We all got spoiled by COVID not working. Jason says, I don't want to buy anything that's not 100% cotton. Oh, okay. If you own shop hops, those quilt shops shouldn't have anything in there other than 100% cotton. And then if they don't, it should be full disclosure at that point. Hey, Vicky Barnes. Oh my God, they were selling some of them trying to sell. I guess when you start getting into these rural quilt shops, maybe that's what's kind of happening. But I know our shops don't pull that in St. Louis area. Everything in there is a 100% cotton unless they're buying it for a particular project or reason. Like they may have some what do you call that? The shiny fabric. It's not ombre. What is that called? I'm blocking the name right now. But there are certain fabrics that you will have in there that they know is not 100% cotton, but they let you know that. I had to put people on notice. I said 2.5K for a king double wedding ring, 75% up front. I give an itemized bill for the planning stage to the end. They usually do or leave me alone. Right. I don't know if you're right. If I was doing a double wedding ring for somebody, they came with wanting that pattern, I would charge them a lot of money. Now, the lady that I made that music quilt for that was pink, white, and black, and it had music prints in it. It was made over with that scooch over 2 pattern by Maple Island Quilts. She once I gave her that quilt and she saw how well I quilt, she she says, I have my husband's ties and I've been wanting to make. She showed me a picture of the tie quilt she wants. And I'm like, I'm not going to make this tie quilt because she don't even understand that this quilt costs this much. If I'm going to be working with these little bitty pieces of fabric from these ties, do you know how much time that take? I made scooch over too because it was big pieces. So I have never even talked to her about that. I see her because she's the owner of the where I go get a page groom. She actually does page grooming. So it's like, honey, I ain't even mentioning that quilt unless she mentioned it. Okay. I don't. My brother is here saying, "Hey, sis, and everyone." I don't want to be messing with them ties. And Sue says Regina's an amazing lady and an excellent quilter. She was pretty quiet at retreat, which I found to be unusual. Um, she wasn't. She was talkative when she was spoken to, but for the most part, she was pretty quiet at retreat. So I was kind of surprised. Sister-in-law sold the quilt I made her for her bedroom for 1K, then asked for another one. Heck no, girl, please. That is funny. Dee Dee Hanson joining here from Michigan. Question, can we send in more than one of the optional blocks, or should we only send what you request? If you send more than one block, you'll be entered into the drawing for the number of blocks that you send. The first block is so super easy, and you realize you got it done before it's even done. So yeah, you can send in more than one block. And I think I mentioned that in the guidelines in that optional block group, on the Facebook group. I think I say in the guidelines, there's a featured post up there with guidelines. The guidelines also have my PO box information for mailing. Everything you need to know about the optional block is listed there. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, starting October, we're going to be doing drawings for what I'm calling optional block. We do this for my quilt guild, but I'm extending it so that I can also do it with the Teaquilters, since I'm the committee chairperson for it with the guild for the next 2 years. And I thought, why not just go ahead and offer it to the Teaquilters as well? However, there is a $5 joining fee, and that $5 joining fee is so that when whoever wins the blocks, I use that money to mail the blocks back out. So there really isn't a fee. It's just that you all are covering shipping up to the winner. So an optional block means it's optional that you make it. Number two, it's a drawing, so you're taking a chance. You may or may not win. So you know, you're like kind of donating blocks every month. Okay. So just keep that in mind that you may or may not win. It could be months where the same person win, because sometimes that happens. So if you're not one of those people that like to do a gamble or like to play, stuff like that. I think it's great when you can make a quilt with different blocks from people all over the country. And I am keeping this into the USA participants only just because of mailing. And we're going to hopefully have a great time with this. I'm not going to be policing any blocks. Long as the block look like it's the pattern that I told you to do, that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to be measuring. That's up to you. Some of the blocks you can square them all to the same size. Like the first block, you can just square it all to the same size. Nobody will know the difference. If it's one of those piece blocks where your points are out on the edge and you can't square it up, you can always make stuff bigger by adding frames and then squaring everything up after you put frames on them to the same size. So there are, ways of using blocks that are not all the same size. So I'm not going to be a stickler about that. I just want to make sure that you're using the same pattern that we're using. So that's the main thing. There was an Ace Hardware that had all of the blends. Now, I do shop Ace Hardware in St. Clair, Jason, but I know Fabric Fields, and their rich wood designs really are 100% cotton if it says rich wood. But I have found a lot of timeless treasures in there. I found name brand fabrics in there from other places. I just know by patterns and looks on most lines. And Kevin, he just cracks up when it happens. It's like, oh my God, that's a timeless treasures. Oh my God. Remo's yeah, it's a metallic. Oh my God, I forgot I can't remember the name of that fabric, but it's not cotton, and it's like see-through. It is gold in color, and I think of course now they probably got it in all colors. But I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it is a metallic fabric. That's from Martha and Liz. I'm laughing at Prince Seam's comments. I'm just not reading them. Mm-mm. Yeah, and Rich says the hardware store that sells fabric. What do hardware guys know about fabric? And they actually, it's one of those. if you know what Ben Franklin stores were, we used to have a lot of them here, and maybe they're still out there in other parts of the country. I'm not sure, but all of ours have closed here in the St. Louis metro area that I'm aware of. But Ben Franklin was one of those stores that it was like one of those community stores where you kind of went and you could buy everything you need. And Ace Hardware kind of reminds me of the Ben Franklin, except that they also have the addition, and not every Ace Hardware has it. It's very few of them that have fabric, but it's mostly in little rural areas where there isn't a quilt shop for 50 miles or more any direction. And so they're trying to service a community. And like I said, some of the fabric is very good fabric, and then you gotta be selective and know your fabrics when you're shopping at places like that. So yes, I have even done hauls, and you can watch some of my haul videos with Ace Hardware, and I even put Ace Hardware in the title. And I didn't know about their Witchwood. I think it's called Riverwoods. That's what it's called, Riverwoods fabric line. But I've done fabric tests on them for myself. I still have some of their fabric in my stash. I don't buy all their fabric. Some of that fabric is very, very hard. And some of that fabric, I do the feel test, and if I like the feel, then I go looking at the salvage to see what the information says. But I've been very lucky in what I purchased from them. Kevin and I I showed you all my haul from Day One Hop a couple weeks ago, and I showed you some fabric that I got from Ace that was really good. I think Tiffany is already gone. I'm so far behind in chat, y'all. The 4-star generals we're making are worth a lot of money. There isn't enough money to pay me for that quilt. You got that right, girl. I got my borders on today. I had to do like I told you all, I was sewing my blocks on 3 or 4 different sewing machines. And so my final piece border on the sides was trying to give me drama, but I put them into submission. I got a little bit of fullness in the border, but with me using batiks and them being stiffer, my outside border is still going to lay nice and flat when I put it on the long arm. But I figured out how to work that joker. But you do have to make sure you're sewing 1/4 inch seams on them 4-star generals. And you're right. There are certain things I wouldn't sell because people don't even understand. At $15 a yard times 9 yards for a queen size top, 15 yards times 9 for the back fabric. Cost of batting plus 200 for having it quilted comes to a total of 500 for a quilt. Right. And that's what I tell people. It's like cheaper for me to make a quilt for you from scratch than it is for you to say you're going to piece it and then want me to quilt it and finish it. Okay. It's cheaper to have me do the whole quilt. But yeah, quilting is, I don't even charge people what I should be charging people. And then they look at me cross-eyed. Sometimes I just want them to pay something so that they recognize what they got and that they're going to cherish it and appreciate it. Yeah, some people do t-shirt quilts, and they do $20 to $25 an hour. And that's what I do for um any type of specialty service. I charge $25 an hour for any specialty services. Jason, you a mess. Yeah, you gotta. It's hidden, and it's like hidden in the stacks. It's weird, but and the way they have it folded, you don't necessarily see the salvage because they're tucked in on the back part of the shelf. But you can find some stuff in there. Sue says that there's a Ben Franklin in Belleville. T, what happens when using the label in your quilt? I don't know what she's talking about. What label? Earlene, that's Earlene Butler. I don't know if she's talking about a machine embroidery label, if she's talking about my leather tag labels. I don't put those into quilts. When I do quilts, I do machine embroidered labels. and I actually put my label on after it's quilted, and then I put it into 2 corners, and then I stitch the binding onto that. So if they take the label off, you're kind of cutting off the binding as well. Paula S says, we no longer have Ben Franklin, but have a variety of stores with fabric. Also, the Amish sell fabric in my area. And that's where I would really go get fabric if I had local Amish. They have good fabrics as well. Yes, Miss T, Ace works Miss T works wonders at Ace. I've been on the receiving end of fabrics. Awesome choices. Yes. I just watch what I buy. And then every once in a while, Jason, I'll go to that Ace. And like ever since COVID has happened, they've been having an issue with getting fabric in, because the fabric people who they're mostly buying discounted fabric. When people are selling fabric for $6 a yard or less, they're getting it from somebody. The fabric is about 4 or 5 years old, hasn't been used, didn't sell in the quilt shops. And so people are trying to get some of their money back. And so they're selling it surplus for like $2 or $3 a yard to places like Ace or other places that sell fabric cheap like that. So the fabric is old, but I don't look at it as old fabric because I got fabric in my stash that's 20 years old. So I'm not going to worry about something that's 5 or 10 years old, uh, for a cheaper price, because even my fabric that's been in my stash for 20 years, most of my fabric I buy on sale. Like today I bought that yardage because I had the other pieces, but I got all those other pieces at such cheap prices that I didn't mind spending the $11 per yard for 3 yards of fabric to do a border on a quilt just to finish off my quilt top if I wanted to. Now the fabric is so pretty that I can or don't have to use it with that particular fabric line, but I wanted it just in case, because once a line is gone, it's gone. So I tend to buy most of my fabric on sale, and a lot of my fabric is over 20 years old. But I'm trying to be selective in the fabrics that I get. Like, I don't like calico, so I won't be buying little small prints of calico prints. I don't want any more of that in my stash. I've depleted the majority of that from my stash. I may have some in my squares containers, my pre-cut squares, or a strip here or there. But for as yardage, I have given all of that stuff away to newbie quilters so that they can get started. There's nothing wrong with the calicos. It's just that I outgrew those, and I don't want those in my stash anymore. I don't purposely go out and buy reproduction prints. Those are not my fabrics. However, there may be a reproduction print that I fall in love with, and I might buy a reproduction print, but I'm not going to go buy at any given time. Will you ever see me with at least 5 reproduction prints at one time? I have never bought more than 1 or 2 at a time, and they're going to be small quantities. They're never going to be the border of my quilt. They're going to be something that I just really like, and it'll blend in well with my other scrap quilts. So you have your styles and things like that change over the years, so it just depends. Earlene says she had to take a break from that 4-star general. Yes, I can believe it. Hey, Ginger. She says salvages. No, I don't know if she's talking to me. No, it's a particular fabric I was talking about, but I can't remember the name of it right now. Jason said there's another shop selling some Walmart fat quarter bundles up in their store today as well. Oh my gosh. And then the quilts I donate, I buy fabric at Joann's Fabric. That's from Remo. Mary says, my daughter is 25, so I have some fabric that is 24 years old. Right. Miss T, is it chiffon? It's organza. Well, yeah, I think it's organza. When they came out with it, and you could see through it, but it was gold, and it kind of had a metallic-y feel. I think it was organza, but it wasn't the real sheer see-through organza. It was, oh, what is that? I think it's still called something else. I have to think about it. Soon as I get out, I put some in my Christmas quilt. Being crazy, okay? Bye, Sue. She says, got to get up with the chickens. It was 9 o'clock, so we've been on here an hour, and I don't even have these things sold yet. Vicky talking about my husband was wanting me to make lap size quilts for everybody he knew who had a baby. I sent him to the long arm and he stopped that for a minute. You got that right. Let's see, what did I do? Let's get these blocks at least sold into 2 patches. We working on hour number 2. See, that's the thing on Saturday with the sewing chat. I can start chatting when the conversations get going in there. I forget all about sewing. So yes. Yeah, I have purchased fabric from Walmart many years ago when Walmart used to have better fabric selection. But I haven't purchased anything recently. Now, there has been a time a few years ago where I saw a whole boat of a whole boat of text fabric by Marcus Fabrics, and so I bought that because it was like a 8 or 10 yards, one of those what they call a short boat, and I bought that because I have a plan for it. One of my eventuallys, I want to make this quilt. Just trying to make sure I'm still sewing these in the pairs. Like I said, it really doesn't matter if they're matched up right. I just need to make sure when I do sew them into 4 patches that none of the fabrics are the same. That's all. So we just want to get these at least sewed one time. We only got 20 blocks. It's like we can't even get 24 patches done. Good night, Teresa. She says, thank you, Miss T. Have a great evening. Now, my husband kind of knows. He's been to a fabric store too with me, so he knows not to pull no stunt like that. He never have. Now, I got 5 step grandkids. One of them was born this year. Everybody else has quilts. Let me make sure I still got the right number too, because my last 4 are a little bit different. 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, and then I should have 6 up here. Just want to make sure before I get to the bottom. Yep, everything's going great. Well, one facility case sold in 2 hours isn't going to pay the bills at this rate. Yep. Sometimes stuff takes a while. Yep. I almost feel like I need a sewing break because I've been sewing like a maniac trying to get all those orphan blocks done for the communique quilt that I'm not really into sewing right now. When I went to scrap club today, I actually worked on computer files that I still don't have fixed. So, okay. 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 Got this. Got this. And every last one of these are turned wrong. So I just need to turn that. I'm glad I'm looking, because I could have sold these last 4 wrong, and we don't want that. It's like something's not right. It looked funny. It wasn't making my design. It's like, okay. Almost there. I think we got 3, 4 patches left for the first seam. All this time, I haven't even gotten through the first sewing. Good night, Vivian and Miss Topaz. I think that's it. Um, hmm. Almost to the last one. 1.5. Trying to get there. I wonder if it's... I can't remember the name of that fabric right now. I'm still trying to think about it. And y'all see how long I've been sewing that I told y'all? I was running out of that. My bobbin light was on. This is why I like this Bernina, extra big bobbins. So now I can just cut these into pairs. 2 and 3. So these 4 are different. They go with that stack. Seven, 8. All right, I just want to make sure I didn't miscount, because nothing worse than getting to the end, piecing your border pieces, and and then you don't have enough blocks, right? All right, so we'll do, maybe I'll do these 4 and get these out the way, the ones that match up. And I can't remember if I pressed these seams open or if I did the 4 patch thing. I'll press them open. I can't remember. It's right here. Just take a look. They're pressed open. I should have already known that's what I would have done. Teresa Puck says, hi, new here. Someone said way earlier that the fabric is lame. That's it. Go lame. Thank you. I missed it. Thank you. Because I kept thinking, no, it's not organza, but it's gold lame. And it only, when it first came out, I think it was gold, and then I think they brought silver. And it was back when Joann's used to be Cloth World. And I had some from sewing something where I needed gold lame. And when I made my first quilt, I ended up putting it into my first quilt, even though it wasn't 100% cotton. Now, something told me to interface, I did put some interfacing on it, but I have never washed my quilt. My quilt was made in 1994. I never washed that quilt. It's gonna fall apart. It's not gonna fall apart because of the gold lame. It's gonna fall apart because I have 15-inch blocks, 3-inch sashing, and cornerstone. This was my first quilt. The quilt we started in July. We did 2 blocks every month. It was a sampler quilt, and I had my quilt hanging on the wall the first week in December for Christmas. I just quilted in the ditch of my sashings and cornerstones. There is no quilting in my 15-inch blocks. And then I even used gold rickrack. When I brought the binding from the backing fabric to the front, I thought it looked plain. So then I went and added gold rickrack on the seam lines of my binding. It's funny, cute, and hilarious, the quilt top that I ended up with. But I would never wash it, and I don't want to fix it. I could fix it easily because there is no quilting in it, in the block. So it would be very easy for me to fix. But I want to keep it as my first quilt, and the fact that I got it done in the 6-month period, and it was a 6-month sew along. And mine was on my wall for the current year, not waiting to next year. So it just shows you that when I started quilting, that I was ready to start. I was gun-ho. I was determined to get it done. Hi, Rhonda Barlow. So thank you, Teresa, for that. I missed that comment, but that's exactly what it was. How are you going to quilt the 4-star general? I don't, probably with a Baptist fan clamshell type design. That's a great way to quilt a traditional quilt. So that's what I plan to do. I just got to figure out color thread. I might use gray or something. I'm not sure yet. It depends on what I put on the back. But I'm thinking I might do a gray because of my 4-star general colors. So these are the 4 that are different. And then I got, well, 3 because I got the other one still on the machine. Cloth World. I just found a old receipt from Cloth World in the bag for free fabric. $15 total for 3 yards of fabric. Those were the days, yes. And Joann's, that's how I got all that crazy calico prints, because I didn't know that there were quilt stores. And Joann's sold a lot of the calico prints. And then they would put calico prints on sale for like 50 cents a yard clearance. And my dumb butt in there buying the whole boat, 50 cents. This was back in the late 1990s. Yes. I was like, I'll take the whole boat for 50 cents. And then it's like, oh my God, how many quilts am I going to put this stuff in? I got so sick of looking at it. So this is number 3. So I'm going to start sewing this one so I can get the 4th one off. Okay. And these laying down there are all the other 12. I needed 16 of opposites attracts, pairs. And so I had cut enough fabric for 12, and then I ran out of fabric. One of my white prints, I didn't have enough of the background prints cut, so I had to stop sewing them. Needed 16 and only had 12. So I'm trying to get these 4 out the way to finish off those 12. And then I've got those 16, and then I'll finish off the next 16. And I'm done. I've already done the corner blocks because they didn't need the piece of fabric that I was short, so I pieced those. So I'm ready. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. My piece reduction strategy has worked. So now I just got to piece great blocks together and my border units. Liz says that fabric ravels badly with no give. I think, yeah, fabric did to me ravel a lot, and people would wash it. I think that's why a lot of people were washing to stop the raveling, and then you go back and stabilize. And I think fabric has just changed over the years that we no longer have to do that, thank goodness. So take my pen out. And Liz says, I do not like calico fabric. I hate calico fabric, but I have a log cabin quilt that I did all calico prints. And when I was making it, it was the god awful ugliest quilt I ever seen when I was making the blocks. And I put it together in a double window pane setting with white and black fabric. Once I got that quilt made, I would not let that quilt go. It is not my colors, but that quilt is gorgeous to me once it was made. I don't know if it's because of my setting, but I will tell you, I will never make another calico quilt. Even though I enjoy the one I have. But yeah. I just finished the quilt top of calico fabrics to donate to a church box. And Do Yoder says hello from the holler. I'm late. Hello, hello. Joan E says, hi everyone. Just got home. Cutting my block to send to T. Beautiful evening. Yes. All right, so let's do 4 more. Those went pretty fast. Instead of pressing all 16, we'll just pick 4. Since I'm not using real heat here, I'm just using my little press mat, the rotary cutter side, to use my little wooden press for right now. And thinking of that, I forgot to send somebody a invoice. Took them a couple of days to respond. I cannot send invoices from my phone, which is stupid. Can't send a PayPal invoice on my phone. I have to go to a desktop, and I'm not there all the time. I don't know, Dee Dee. I haven't even opened the packages, so I would just be assuming, but I have received blocks from, I think Kevin did 3. I'm going to assume everybody else has done 1. I'm just going to say I have about 8 blocks total at that point, something like that. I don't know. I just been putting them into a handbag so that they're all together when I get ready to do the drawing. I'll get organized right before I go live. Right now, it's just keeping everything together. So I haven't been counting yet. I have been marking just a check mark that I received a package from somebody that's on the list. I do have some confused folks. I think they were trying to get into the optional block list. That's why I put the list out of who paid in the group, because I felt like people were in the wrong group, a few of them. So I'm going to go ahead and leave them in there for right now. And if I don't get a block from them in October, then I'm going to be deleting people that haven't paid. If you paid and you don't send a block, don't worry about it. You won't get deleted. But I just think people were getting the optional block group mixed up with the Hobo Hearts group that starts in January. But everybody wanted to get their books early. So that's 1, 2. This is 3. We got to do one more for 4. And that way, they'll won't seem so tedious as pressing 16 blocks at one time. 4 at a time is good. I am wondering if backing fabric 108 inches is different from regular cotton. Just ordered one from Missouri Star Quilt Company. 3 yards cut on sale. It's different, thinner. Just curious. I think I have mentioned this before, that I've had 2 customers that have purchased backing fabrics from Missouri Star, and to me they look like seconds. I'm not saying that all the fabric from them is seconds. I'm saying that when I've had an issue, and when I went and started doing further inspection, I saw that there was an issue with the backing fabric. Now, in one case, I didn't catch it because it was a K fabric, and it was just one of the color runs. The fabric texture in that particular color run throughout the entire backing piece was bad. So I contacted my customer because I didn't know. First, I took stitches out. I took out a lot of stitches because of stitching irregularities, and she wanted me to use variegated thread. Variegated thread's a lot more complex to quilt with. And so I was thinking it was my machine acting crazy, but then I go back and test quilt on the side. Everything will work well. I asked the people in the Gamble group. Nobody kind of knew what was going on. So then as I was taking the stitches out, because the stitches were so bad, I had stitched about 3 passes before I noticed that this stuff was messing up. So I'm taking the stitches out, and I'm taking the stitches out from the back. And I noticed one of the fabrics had a very loose weave. And I'm like, now that's very weird. So then I called my customer and I said, I know that this is K fabric. I know my fabrics. I said, however, can you tell me where you bought this from? And they said that they had got it from them. And I said, that's unusual. So that was my first encounter with that. And because I'm thinking she bought it, but she went back and sent me her invoice, showed it to me on their website, paid regular price for it. It wasn't like super cheaper than getting it anywhere else. And for some reason, that fabric just wasn't right. I don't know if like I said, it was just one color. It was like a tealish color that was bad in that particular run. And the rest of the colors were like oranges, reds, and purples. And then it had this tealish blue in it. And every time that blue fabric happened, that blue color hit that fabric, it was a mess. So I don't know what happened with that particular run, if it was a machine issue or what. But I just let her know, and then I could not use that variegated thread. However, it did let me quilt it with regular 100% cotton thread. So that's what I ended up using. I could not use variegated thread on that quilt. It was just too heavy for that particular section on that quilt. So lo and behold, within that year, I get another customer quilt. She's asking No, she was asking me to quilt it. She had pieced it at my retreat, and she wanted me to quilt her quilt. And I go, oh, okay, sure. So I quilt her quilt, and as I'm loading it on the long arm, I notice holes. Holes all throughout this backing. And so I took a picture of it while it was on the long arm, and I said, do you want me to quilt this, or do you want to send me something else or whatever? She told me to go ahead and quilt it. I wouldn't have put a quilt that had fabric that had holes sporadically throughout the backing. I wouldn't have put that on my quilt, but she was okay with it. So I quilted, did what she said. It was a good thing it was the quilt back and not the front, because hopper foots can get caught and stuff like that. So, but I've had 2 occasions where somebody had backing from them that was bad. So I don't know. I feel like they have good quality fabrics when I buy by the yard. I don't know if it's what Missouri Star had or if it's what that fabric manufacturer is putting out. So I have no way of knowing. Good night, Mona. She says it's snack time. Girl, I gotta go eat dinner for real. I might make me a piece of fish in the air fryer. So I don't know. And I don't, I don't like putting stuff out. I can only tell you what my experience is. Now, I don't know how many other quilts I've quilted that have had Missouri Star quilt backings either. And I've quilted quilts even for myself where I've used Marshall Dry Goods, lower quality fabric. You all seen where I showed you all the video of how to soften hard fabrics. Because they're 100% cotton, because I did the burn test on them. They're just hard. I don't know how some cotton is harder than other cotton. You do that burn test, you know if it's got any polyester in it. That's another thing you can do, Jason. You can burn fabric. If it turns to ash, then it's 100% cotton. But if any of it feels hard, if you get a hard edge on a burned piece of fabric, it's got some polyester in it. So you can check that Ace fabric. I had more problems with Walmart fabrics being over dyed and the colors ran in the first wash. And that's probably, you don't know if Walmart has like really old fabrics that they're getting when they're selling stuff for that price. But it could still be being produced on some kind of old system as well. But like I said, I haven't bought anything unless it was name brand fabric at Walmart in a package that's all still wrapped, and I bought the whole boat. And I don't even go over there looking for fabric. Sometimes I'm in a house section looking at placemats or something, and then I'll turn the corner and see some fabric, and I go, I've been looking for that. But I'm not really looking at the fabric per se. Like what I'm looking for would jump up at me or something like that. But I was just in there in 2 different Walmarts. I didn't even worry about none of that fabric. But yeah, but older fabric was made a lot different, and it was a lot more issues with that. I don't know where this come from. A piece of paper on the back of my block. Just a little sliver. So it's 9:37. So I got 1 set of 4s done, working on the second set. Just using my wood press, and then I'll take all of this to my big ironing surface. I got it set up for when I'm doing the bags and stuff. And the other communique quilt, I'm using it for that too. So large press area. Okay. So some of you all have said what you're working on. Anybody else haven't shared what projects they're working on today or in the near future? Some of you have shared. This is number 4. So this will be my second set, the 8, once it's sewed. Count them down. Oh, Helena Carter is working on a Take 5 Christmas quilt. I have one that's been in the progress. I think I showed it in the videos. I have never finished. See, I told y'all I make quilts for videos or because somebody asked me, and then I never finish them. I got the Take 5 for Christmas, and I also have Take 5 for that lavender one. It's not done either. I had no project plan for them, so I was just piecing stuff just to be piecing. Time says I did complete my first bag. Lots of steps for sure. I just used the Nantucket bag free pattern from Moda. That's cool. Yep. You're making your first one is always great to just use something already on the internet. And then I like to experiment with different interfacings. I'm making a bag now that has the Decoville light in it. But I haven't finished it because I started working on the communique quilt. It's like, oh Lord. Oh, goodness. And I'm to the point where I'm putting the front and back together, but it has it has two carrying straps and it has a longer handle on this other bag I'm making. And I can't figure out why it has the long handle, but I'm hoping I have something that I can use, an adjustable buckle. I'm hoping. All right, we getting there. When I go piecing my other blocks, I tend to piece a few of these in between. I press. When I'm pressing my other blocks as I'm working on the communique quilt, I've been piecing and pressing. I've been pressing these units, not piecing. Pressing these units. So. Alice in Wonderland quilt from Bonita. MQG Fabric Challenge. Testing a free foundation paper piecing pattern. So that's pretty cool. Working on another baby quilt. I have several young co-workers that have been busy from French seams. That's nice. Baby quilts are nice to do because you could really test some stuff and it's in such a small space that you can be done with it fast if you don't like a technique. So I always enjoyed making baby quilts. Liz says I cut out a boxy pouches and a sweater jacket today. Sewing up a cute pincushion right now, so that's cool. Sometimes I don't know what I want to do. And that's when I have 5 different projects out. I'm trying not to do that. That's why I'm trying to wrap up this communique quilt so I don't have to ever pull them blocks out again. And I think I'm going to make all of my blocks for the boho heart. I make all of her blocks, but I'm going to make all my blocks. So we'll see how this goes. Winona says, I just finished a quilt top with the peacock panel, but now I have started another scrappy quilt. I have the peacock panel as well. I think it's by Timeless Treasures. And then my chat died. It just kicks me out every now and then. Okay. Flower Girl said I was working on a yellow and green floral scraps in a scrap quilt into a 4-patch pattern for another donation quilt. Awesome. I used to do a lot of donation quilts, and then my guild do too. I just donate a whole quilt and then I'm done. And thinking of that, once I get my long arm up, that's another quilt top that I have to quilt. as well. So I'll get that done. And Tom, I need to get back to you. Time slipping by, isn't it? I need to get with Tom too. I keep forgetting to check schedules with my dear friend Kevin because we're doing shop hops, and I keep forgetting when I see him to ask him about it. Great job, everyone, on your projects from Rich. Vicky says, I also need to finish baby quilts for twins. Claudette, she's quilting the Tree of Life panel. I think I have that too. Is if it's one of those huge panels, like, I don't know, 50 something wide by 72 long or something like that. I don't know. It's pretty big. I don't know what the size is, but it's not your standard 24-inch panel. I got one of those. They were so pretty, I just couldn't pass it up. When I was working with the lady at the quilt shows with Fabrique, she had the panel, and it was her last one she had. I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad I've mentioned it. Tree of Life panel is cute. I am wanting to do something with applique, and I'm trying to stay away from applique because I was going to put some applique in this pattern, and I was like, nope, not going to do it. I did make an adjustment that I haven't even showed you all, but in due time. I decided I thought I was gonna put either applique flowers or I was gonna put embroidered, and they could have been embroidered applique flowers too. But I was like, girl, that's too much work. So we doing something else. Because I realized since I made my blocks bigger and I used a white tone on tone, my white space is so big that it needed something in it. And so I was trying to figure out what to do, and I figured it out. Whether it works or not, I've got it done. Anyway, so maybe I'll do a video on quilting it, and then as part of that, I'll show you the entire quilt top as well. All right. Vicky talking about them babies are 6 months old now. You're going to be making twin size quilts. You keep on. I'm sewing vicariously through you all 8 weeks with the, oh my gosh, Mary, I didn't know that. Sorry about that. I'm just glad I'm able to use my thumb now. I keep it wrapped so I don't hit it when I'm doing a lot. Like today, moving stuff, carrying stuff in and out for scrap club, lifting stuff. So I tend to put something on it so I don't forget that I have a hand injury. And then at night I take it off. I massage it. I'm able to massage it even though it hurts. I'm trying not to get any scar tissue under it. Yeah. I got a whole slew of stuff sitting back up here, huh? Oh my gosh. I think we're on our last set of 4, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully. And we are 12 minutes left. So I will get these done. Yes. And Rich telling Vicky she better get started before they graduate college. Right. I'm like, you're going to be making twin quilts. Now, I had one family that I made them baby quilts, and then I made them, instead of making them baby quilts, I did do twin size quilts because the mom already knew what color scheme she was going to use. She didn't do a baby theme room. She just went straight into the colors that she was going to use in their room, and it was like a adult done. So one was primary colors, and then the other one was the girl was purple and gold. So I made twin quilts. So you know that she used them quilts on the bed every day. She took care of those quilts. And then when her son, not the daughter, but the son, when he went to college, even though he went to college in Atlanta, he lives in Atlanta, he wanted a Mizzou Tigers quilt. I made him a Mizzou Tigers quilt. I had just got my long arm and I quilted it on there. And when I had that whole quilt done, I said, somebody gonna steal this baby's quilt because it is just too cute. So I went back while it was on the long arm, and I did what's called herky jerky applique, where I made ladders, and then I just used my long arm and free motion did the edges with like a zigzag around it, and you let the thread build up so it's thick. And I just did that through all 3 layers because it was already pieced. But I wanted to make sure nobody stole his quilt. He was so proud of that quilt. And because he had taken such good care of his other quilt, I didn't mind making him a second. So that was funny. I hope you heal okay. Yeah, I'm working on it because I don't want any scar tissue in my thumb. So that's what I'm trying to prevent. But it's still tender. So if I go knocking it really hard, I'm going to be screaming. So I'm trying to prevent that. And I just have a very small bandage for padding. Like I cut I'm allergic to Band-Aids. That's why I don't have a Band-Aid on. I would prefer to have Band-Aid. It'll be a lot easier. But I have to cut like a 2x2 square. I cut it into 4 pieces and then fold it in half. The 2x2 square is your layers folded into a 2-inch square. So I just cut them apart and have 2-inch squares of bandage, and then I fold that in half, and that's what I have under my wrap. But I can't put Band-Aids on. I'm scared to put a Band-Aid on because I didn't want, this injury was so bad, I didn't want to break out from being allergic to it. I normally can wear Band-Aids on my fingers and toes, and that's it. If I put them anywhere else, my shoulders, I break out from the Band-Aid adhesive. So, but I'll be taking this off soon. I just left it on for now. I'll go wash it and put some cocoa butter on it and I'll rub it before I go to bed. Right after I cook me something to eat. I'm still gonna air fry that fish. I use facet sateen. Oh, she could have been talking to Mary, and I'm up here talking about my fingers. So sorry. uh, Betsy Lou says, I use facet sateen backing for the first time on my long arm last week, and it gave me many thread breaks. Not sure I want to use the sateen again. It's a higher thread count, but feels slinky. Yeah, so I don't know what this fabric was this lady had, but like I said, it was just in one spot. When I was taking it out, I didn't even notice it when it was quilting that it was always in the same spot. But, I don't know. I just know I won't be buying any facet backing. Not what I went through. It's not worth the headache because it is no fun taking out stitches, quilting stitches. It's a fast to put all those stitches in. When it's time to go ripping, it takes me days to rip out just 3 rows of stitching. Days. I hate long arm mistakes. There we go. Thread ran out. And at least it doesn't let you air sew. And I got like 3 more to go. So I normally would clean this machine and all of that. But according to this pattern, not today. We're going to get these last 4 sewed. I thought I saw a thread, but maybe I didn't. No, that's not it. I don't know where the little last piece of thread went to. Okay. I don't even know where my Bernina bobbins are. Isn't that crazy? I may not be sewing another stitch. I put this bobbin in here and now I don't even know what I did with the case. It's a red case too. Sorry for hitting the mic, guys. Hopefully you didn't hear it. Okay. Oh, it's up here. I moved it all the way up. Goodness gracious. I'm gonna have an avalanche. I wasn't expecting it to be all the way up there. All right. All right. See if I can put this in here without taking this plastic case off. Top my tabletop. All right. All right, success. All right, I gotta cut this thread though. Threads, hanging threads get on my nerves. I can't do it, not even one. What and how many projects today? Just not today. Working on 20 blocks. My border units. I'm almost there. 3 more to sew. Is it 3? 2 more to sew. And then I just have to press these. Sew them in pairs. And I think I might wait until I piece my quilt top and lay them out so I know exactly where they're going. Oh, Diane 57 came in and said, "Hi everyone. I missed that. Hi Diane." Any suggestions for an applique quilt design? I don't know. I mean, if you're looking for a theme, if you're wanting something for yourself and well, I would say do something floral if you're doing it as a test. And then if you like florals, I think like floral blocks, if you want to get into like Baltimore albums, if you want to make something that's going to really be a pretty quilt, you can get into something like that. But just even a basic floral block doesn't have to be fancy, because when you do leaves, you're going to do inside curves, outside curves, as well as with your flowers. It's a good combination of how to stitch. And I don't know what type of applique you're talking about. If you're talking about machine applique, it doesn't matter on the flowers as far as technique, but you got to figure out what technique of applique you want to try. In all honesty, I actually prefer needle turn applique if I'm going to do applique. And that's because I like the finished look. I have many quilts that I have fusible applique. I've even won first place in a bed quilt. It was a snowman quilt that was fusible applique. I mean, not fusible. It was fusible web, and then I did stitching on my machine for the buttonhole stitch, and I won first place for that. It's when you're washing that type of quilt, if you're going to use it and wash it, I find that the edges are going to fray on that quilt. So I don't really recommend it if it's going to be something that's washed. Now, if it's a hand applique quilt, I think you're going to treat it a lot better. Number one, because of the work time that went into it. And then number two, it's not going to be washed as much. So I wish I knew then what I knew now. I had my very first quilt that I hand quilted. I had to take off my bed because I didn't know if you hand quilt a quilt, you shouldn't technically sit on that quilt. You shouldn't put pressure on the hand quilting stitches. And I had a lot of my stitches pop. So whenever you put a quilt that's hand quilted on your bed and you go to sit on the bed, you should pull that quilt back and not sit on your quilt top. So I learned that the hard way. And I probably only quilted 2 quilts by hand. One was the one where my stitches popped. They were regular size stitches. And then I did a big stitch one where I did a flannel quilt. And I did big stitch quilting by hand. And that's it. I don't really enjoy hand quilting. So you got to figure out, I'm ready for pressing. You've got to figure out, this is what I was making, this block in the reverse right here. So these are the 12 that I made last time we sewed on this project. And then I was short because I needed 16, and then I needed 16 more, the reverse. So I've got 20 blocks here. So they just need to be pressed. So mission accomplished. It's 10:01. Well, let me read some more comments before I get out of here. Yeah, there's 1,000 ideas for applique. You got that right. It just depends on what you want to do and what technique are you trying to test. Mary says she's so poop, so she will see y'all later. Take care. Good night. We're not gonna be here much longer, girl. And the chat's not gonna. I'm hoping it's not that long. Kevin the Quilter says new to the channel here. Miss T seems real nice and knowledgeable. Evening, all tea quilters. Well, how you know they're tea quilters then? If you're new here, sir. Troublemaker is here. Vicky says she's seriously thinking about making toddler bed size quilt 6 inches square. Yeah, I always try to make mine bigger than that 40 inches square that they recommend. I'm like, that's not gonna last very long at all. Even as a floor mat. And I even made somebody a floor mat where I put like um 2 layers of batting. I put 1 layer of polyester for puffiness, and then I probably put a layer of warm and natural in the bottom, and it was thick, and I purposely made it so that it was a changing mat, table, floor, play mat, things like that. And I told the mother what it was. I'm like, please don't put this quilt on top of this baby, or wrap this baby in this quilt, because that's not what it was made for. You see what you started, Kevin? Flower Girl thinks that you're really new here. Just a troublemaker. Betsy Lou says, yes, unique. Unquilting on the long arm is painful. Yes, it is. And there's been times that I've sat on my frame taking stitches out depending on how much and how, if it was just one row. And then there was times I just had to take that whole quilt off the frame because I'm like, this just ain't gonna work. My back was hurting. I've had pillows that I'm sitting on top of the frame, and it's a mess when you got to rip on a long arm. Yes, I'm gonna be careful with this thumb, Diane. I want to do something special for myself. Yeah, so I would do like a test block just so you can get started. And then if I was doing something that I knew I was going to keep hand applique, once I did my test block, I'd pick my pattern and then I would start with that. And just that's how you have orphan blocks, or you can make a pillow out of it later on. But always do a test block on whatever technique you decide to do. Thank you, Tom. Vanessa says, I just finished a commissioned sorority quilt. Now I'm putting binding on miniature quilts. So that's pretty cool. My brother says, good night, everyone. Yeah, we're about to get up out of here. Y'all start talking when it's time for me to go. I haven't done an applique quilt before. I just thought I would try something new from my own. Yeah. T, do you want Kevin in timeout? That sounds good, T, from Vicky Bournes. Flowers, a girl. Hearts are good. Yeah, hearts are good too. I just know everybody don't have anything they can do with hearts because everybody don't like them. So I tend to just go ahead and make something floral. Heather talk about Kevin is a regular troublemaker. So yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and end here, guys. We're 6 minutes over. I'm actually gonna go cook me this piece of fish I got in my refrigerator. I'm starving. Like I said, all I had was starch. I haven't had any protein. So I will see you all Wednesday. I do plan to be here Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for just 1 hour chat. I don't know what the topic is going to be at this time. I doubt if my fabric order comes in. So I will figure that out next Wednesday. You all take care. Stay blessed. Be safe. And quilt out, everybody.